This is Scott's busy studio. He's working on this amazing big painting of Pow Wow, and it's taking him actually probably, wouldn't you say it's taking you a couple weeks?
I have already worked on it probably a couple weeks. I probably have a couple more.
Yeah, I mean, you really, really take your time drawing it out, much more than I ever would.
It took me like
And
3 days to
so
draw it.
you are figuring out the exact placement and drawing and all the shadows. Um, and then you're just sort of coloring it in. And your palette's down there to your right, your brushes, and but this is just, oh, and his monitor's to the right there too. But just thought I'd give a quick little look at what it looks like for Scott to paint out here. He comes out here at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm still asleep, and he paints for hours, and then takes breaks, and then keeps painting. But this is a studio in progress with packing materials and paintings waiting to go out, canvases. This is his sculpture stuff right there. I've come out to get the video camera so that I can go down and film myself working in my studio a little bit.
So this is a day in the life, right, of an artist. I am in an arts building. It's kind of like the basement, but there is a door over there that leads outside, so kind of like half level down. There's potters, ceramicists, photographers, painters. There is nobody else here today except for a woodworker down there. So you can see the window. That is 6th Street in Winston-Salem. I used to have that studio way down there. It used to be a really big one that I shared with a couple friends, but we left and I kind of went into this one by myself. So I put some pictures out here of some of my favorite artists, like Sargent and Shannon and Scott Burdick. So these are old watercolors that Scott did when we were in Chicago, and we made prints out of them. So I just kind of put them here because this room has windows, and I personally just don't want to have people see in. So let me close the door. So I'm down here most days. There's no windows in here. So you can see how I kind of put lamps everywhere. I had one lamp kind of break on me over there. But in general, I like to keep this room bright because I don't want to feel like I'm underground. I do like not being able to know what the weather is, so that's funny. Some people think that's weird, but I actually don't like knowing what the weather is. This is where I paint, and so you'll see that it's a little bit of makeshift, right? I've been debating and debating. I think artists, we tend to weigh like how much money do we want to spend. So this is just a plastic table that I put on these sort of raised things that you could get from Walmart. I think they're meant for beds. Some TV trays, a stool, miscellaneous cups. And I go back and forth because it's like, do you spend money or don't you spend money on things that you're going to put in your studio? And how long will I be in this place? Even though I've been in this building, I don't even really remember, but I think it's been about 11 years, could be 12. I've been in different rooms in this whole building. And so how much money to spend, This is a pretty nice easel, but I won this in my name was picked in some show, and I won it. Otherwise, I would not have had such a nice easel. In fact, the easels that I've been using is like that one, which won't go very high, or I've been using that kind of one, which was very rickety, especially when I was doing videos. So my painting used to move a lot, and so some of this furniture, I was given this Repin model stand replica, and I kind of use it for storage. This couch was in my parents' house before I was even born, so that has been with me for a while. Some of these tables have been, with me forever. I got this kind of metal, you know, paper flat file. And these things are pretty great. Let me kind of show you. I'm going to lower this. So before I had this, you know, I was just putting drawings on tables in between cardboard. And so now, you know, I can store them in here, which is nice. I have lots of like drawings, I have some prints. Oh, I have some, I like to save papers. And sometimes people will give me papers because they know I like papers. So when I go through my mixed media phases, where I want to do drawings and papers, I have all these different rice papers that I'm saving. And what else is in here? Oh, it's a pretty old thing. I got it from another artist, friend, Arlene, in the building. Nude oil sketches. Oh, let's see what's in here. It's a surprise. Oh, these are drawings. So these are like quick sketches. Let me make sure you can see these. Okay. So these, we haven't done figure drawing in a while, just because I've been going, it just, you know, COVID. This is an old drawing, probably 15 years. I just find these in sketch pads. This is one that Scott did. So this was on a toned paper with like a pastel pencil. And these are some of mine. Like this is one of mine that's like a pastel pencil. These are probably like a 5. Ooh, see, you get stuff on the paper. It's like a 5-minute pose. These are when we would have a model and they would pose for like 3 hours, and you would just papers. Oh, it's actually dust. So I haven't seen these in a while, but this was probably, I would say, a 10-minute drawing. So what I would do is use a pastel pencil with a very fine point, and then use maybe even some chalk, the same color, to mass in. I had no idea I was going to show these. Another one. So this is kind of what we would do with Quick Sketch. So this would be probably like 2 minutes. 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Quicker, less, more just angles, big shapes, very dynamic poses. I really miss doing Quick Sketch. Unfortunately, it's hard to find Quick Sketch stuff, you know, groups, so you kind of have to do them yourself. And the whole idea is, do I want to rearrange my studio every time to have people come in? Like this is a little oil one. Oops. Let's see. So this is done on vellum. It's like a thick kind of slick, and so this is 45 minutes. So these are all these little nudes that I've had. They're kind of transparent, so when you can see my hand through it. So when you mat them, you have to, it's very important to know, how do you want to mat them? Do you want to put like a dark behind it? See, if I put something dark behind it, it's going to change. If I want to put something light, if I want to change the temperature, usually I like to put my nudes against almost like a cool green, or, you know, something that's neutral. So all of these would be the same idea as the Quick Sketch, but just in 45 minutes. Very, very simplified. I never did anything in the faces. I never worried about the feet or the hands. It was trying to just get the big picture. Oh, so this is interesting. Okay, well, we can go through these some other time. Ooh, I should be storing these differently. You see, every time I lift it up, they kind of like, the paint sort of, always trying to be a better artist.
Let me put these back. You never know when these will see the light of day again. Maybe one day I'll do like a very inexpensive art studio sale. It's hard to sell these like over the internet because of shipping. So, I mean, the best thing to do is to have people just come to your studio and see if they like things and kind of take them with them. These are great for artists. These are made already, but you can make them yourself. So these flaps, this is cardboard. See, and then there's these two ties. And so I have made these things by myself, but you can store drawings and fragile stuff in stuff like this. And this is all I used to store my drawings in before I would have this nice file. Scott actually has a couple of these. So, oh, some plexiglass, some mats. And then I have all this paint that I try to organize in colors, but as I use them, they get kind of messy. But I have my whites, my yellows, oranges, browns, pinks, green. Oh! Okay, that's okay. And blues and blacks. And in a way, this was sort of genius because I used to just have my paints in a basket. I mean, seriously, I'd have them in a basket or a box or a bag. And they would always get kind of dirty. And I kind of felt jealous when I would see artists who would hang their paints and make them so clean. And so some of the paint that I'm using, I just stick over on that table there because those are the specific colors I'm using on paintings. But every now and then I'll need a color from here. But this is a great thing because I can pull it out and I can just see all the paints. Underneath I store some pochade boxes and some carrying cases. This lamp broke on me, so I think I'm gonna have to buy a new one because I don't even know if they're worth trying to fix. I have art supplies. I have miscellaneous notes, papers, things that I write down, things that I forget about why I wrote them down, some plaster casts, miscellaneous stuff that you might use in props, and my little seating area. So when I'm painting, I tend to paint for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I keep hitting the tripod. And I have my chocolate because I need chocolate. And then what I do is I take a break because painting is exhausting. So I sit over here and I look at my phone. And just like everybody else in the world, I kind of obsess about animal videos. So on YouTube, on Instagram, I'm sitting here, and I'm kind of like having a snack and I'm kind of looking at my phone because I need to not look at my paintings and because I need to just sit for a while. And I personally cannot paint hardcore. It depends on the painting. But I can't paint hardcore for more than 90 minutes. Usually I'll even take a break before that. When the painting is, like when I've been painting on things for a long time, and it's harder and harder and harder to finish, sometimes my breaks get longer and the spurts of painting get shorter, because it's just a lot of decisions and it's frustrating and you just need to like chill your brain out. But I just find that painting is exhausting and I need to take a lot of breaks. So I get to my studio anytime between 10 and 12 every day. And and then I usually come and I have something to eat, and let me move my camera a little bit. And I get ready, I prepare my palette. So these palettes are 2 white palettes that I got from New Wave. And I really, really like working on white now. I kind of changed over to where I don't want to work on colored palettes anymore. Not saying that when you travel, it's not going to happen, but
prefer to work on white. And so even my pochade boxes, I've gotten little white palettes. So these are two together because they don't sell a bigger size than this. And the one thing that I have noticed is that because I use a razor blade, because these are glass, and that's the whole point, is to clean your palette afterwards, I'm getting these gouges, which are pretty annoying. And it's not, there's nothing they can do about it because it's glass. It's going to happen. So I have a feeling that I'm going to have to replace this probably once a year, just because I could probably move this piece over here or this piece over here because this doesn't have it. But I like having this big space. I mean, I could probably get something made this size, but then that would be expensive, and I was talking about money before and the cost evaluation. Also, I want you to see that I have this plastic premium wrap. I try and get the cheapest, and I try and get the ones that do this little slidey scale, because every day, because I don't have a box, because I can't close it and seal it, and because I don't manually take my paint off and put it into little tiny, a little carrier that some people do, I just put this film on top. It helps a little bit. It's not perfect, but this is just what I do at night. And I kind of have this makeshift stuff under here. Oh, I just don't like the look of it, but I keep telling myself it's not worth spending hundreds of dollars to get a new table. And sometimes I think, well, maybe I could just move this thing. This is a big old table that Scott made for me that I love, and I think it was made literally for like $100. So he just got these boards. These are hollow doors from like Lowe's Home Improvement. So he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hollow doors. So this whole table is a big giant rolling table the size of a door. And then he just made these shelves, and this is where I would put canvases, papers, art supplies. But, with big wheels, I can move it around. And I love using it as a workspace. I just kind of put sheets on top of it. And, I could use this, but then I love using it as a workspace so much. Oh, God. All right. Well, I stand on this gymnastics mat. Could be, I bought this actually. I bought this and 2 others from my local YMCA, and Scott has 1 or 2 of them in his studio too. And they're incredibly hard to find. But I could not paint without having this because this is concrete. And even standing on this with normal shoes, I can't do it. I have to have big, chunky, giant Frankenstein shoes. These are 2 paintings that I am working on, and I'm not, 3 paintings, and I'm not going to show details yet, just because. They're in progress, and this black frame was I would have to say a kind of an expensive frame that we bought from a, big time framer years ago. I'm talking, God, 18, 15 years ago, who knows? That is the problem with us in frames, is that you get a frame and then they last in your studio forever because maybe the painting you bought it for just didn't work. Or in the case of this frame, we had put it on a painting and that painting actually didn't sell. So we got that painting back. And sometimes what happens is when we get a painting back, we might reframe it, or maybe we'll sell it directly out of our studio, or something like that. So this frame we've been sitting around forever. I'm gonna say it's at least a 4.5-inch frame. It was gold leafed, but it was the metal gold leaf. So the tone was a little bit basic. It didn't have a lot of nuance, which more expensive gold frames really, have. So then what I did was I painted it black, which is what, we've been doing with some gold frames that maybe the tones are just not very pretty. And, but now I don't want it solidly black. So what I've been doing is taking steel wool and taking sandpaper, and I'm going back over it, and I'm going to sand it down and distress it, and then see what's going to happen next, because this painting is going to hang next to this painting, and it's going to have this beautiful frame over here. And so, see that beautiful frame down there? And I just think that the other frame needs to have a little bit of distressing, some nuance, because it does have some of those corner ornaments, which are gorgeous. So there you go. And then I have this other frame with this archway, which is beautiful. I still have to finish that painting. Now this is fabrics that I have just collected. Now I bought these from Etsy. I love having these different types of ties for models' hair, for still lifes, for setups. I personally even like wearing them around too, sometimes when I travel. But I mean, I think I went to Etsy and there was a place that I could get like 25 of these. They're just remnants. And I have more. So this is just a handful for like 14 bucks. Etsy is amazing. Now, I also have some tapestries that I got from my grandmother, which I think she had probably just gotten from antique stores or yard sales. And so I just keep these because these are perfect to go behind still lifes or to go behind models. And who knows how old this is, because my grandmother had them and never used them, and we found them in a drawer. This is an obi, a beautiful obi that I bought from an estate sale. Gorgeous. Some of it, unfortunately, has gotten a little bit sun bleached. Now, it's never been anywhere where it's just the actual light of the room. So however you fold these, I mean, I kind of hate that it got that, because this is gorgeous, but I've used this in these two paintings. Regular fabrics. Oh, I got this from India. So these are beautiful fabrics. This would probably be something that would go on a table or on the wall behind a couch. So I got this just from a local antique store. I just love these designs. I mean, this would make a beautiful pillow. Another obi, some more fabric from India, some other little stuff I had from my grandmother. My grandmother was an avid sort of like resale, garage sale person, and would just have all these different tapestries. This was probably something like a table runner that would go on a table or a radiator. Another gorgeous obi, and then another tapestry. So I have tons of fabric under here, behind that curtain, at home. Sometimes I forget about the fabrics that I have, but it's you know, the fun part of being an artist is saving all this stuff and using it with models, using it with still lifes. And it's just fun to have memories of when you travel, to have some of this stuff. Okay. Another thing I wanted to show you was having inspiration around your studio, like gorgeous prints. The last time I visited Nancy Guzik last summer, she was generous enough to give me these prints. And so I'm going to get them framed. But what an inspiration. That one blows my mind. It just blows my mind. So just the best thing to have, like if you're working on colors or working on warms and cools of whites, or how to, you know, have big brush strokes. So I keep these as inspiration. I think I have another one that's inside here. Let's see. Oh, this is an old print. Oh my God. Memories. That is from the early 90s when Scott and I went down for, I think he had a retrospective for this, but this was for Oklahoma, and this was the poster for a Mozart festival. And, oh my gosh, yeah. And some big art books, some fashions. Oh, this is a Ramon Casas that I bought in Spain years and years and years ago. Oh my gosh, I remember when I first found out about Ramon Casas. And we went to the Museo de Montserrat just outside Barcelona. Holy cow, I mean, blow your mind. So I have tons of more posters in that flat file, and we have more at home. Okay, I just wanted to kind of start this little diaries just to show you where I'm at every day. Those are frames that need to be tweaked, meaning toned, kind of maybe there's some chips. I think we live in a frame graveyard. Honestly, we order frames, and then they sit. And then we order more frames. I mean, it is, yeah. So today what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna work on this painting a little bit. I'm kind of getting sick of looking at it, actually. And when I work on something for too long, it's almost like I can't think straight. I can't concentrate. I can't see the vision. I can't, You know, I find painting is so intense, and instead of falling asleep while you paint, where you just want to keep putting brush strokes down, and you might think it's just keep going, push, I am the opposite, because I know things go wrong when I push. So I kind of rotate between paintings, and if I've become blinded to stuff, or I'm just looked at it too much, well, you know, I'll show you what I do with my monitor. So I have this Dell monitor, and it can go vertical also. And this is on wheels, so I can kind of move this around, and I have it attached to a laptop. And so what I do is, okay, turn my monitor on. I also, a lot of times I will take my painting and put it upside down and put my images upside down. And I also really love to look at my images in black and white, because color is so distracting. It'll make you think the values are darker. So anyway, so I usually have a black and white and a color version, and I like to stand back. So that's what I'm probably going to work on today. And I'll work for a little bit, I'll have lunch, I'll look at my animal videos. Sometimes I listen to audiobooks. Sometimes I'll watch a YouTube video just because I need to like veg out. But I'm here a lot, and it's, you know, we're working towards this goal of finishing something, you know, to show the world, to be proud of ourselves, to say something important, I guess, through art. And a lot of times it's really difficult to keep going every day. And I want to do like these little video diaries to keep myself motivated, because I think that if I force myself to share, then I'll also keep reminding myself how blessed I am, you know, because Scott works at home, I work here, and especially because of COVID, we don't really have model groups as much. I hope to get it in the future. But the studio, if you can imagine, I mean, I would have portrait models in here and invite some friends, but to have a figure model, I would have to really move stuff around. And I just don't think I'm willing to do that. I want to find another place to have figure models. So I'm going to set my palette up, get everything ready. And then what I also like to do is I like to sit in this chair. So you see how I have this chair situated right here. And if I sit over here and I sit down and I kind of look at my painting from far away, and I go back and forth and back and forth, and I think about, oh gosh, what do I need to do? And a lot of times what I also do is I have a sheet of paper and a pen right next to myself, and I write down things, because I want to think more and paint less. That's very profound, I know. So these are paintings and stuff that I've just turned around because I'm just not ready yet to show. These are little studies that I've done as demos. So pretty much everything up here is a demo for like a class or a little online video or something. Little studies about value. Well, I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know how this painting and this procedure goes. And thanks for joining. Bye-bye.